top 1% women have been gatekeeping the secret to getting it all done, and it's time you rethink everything you know about time management. If you're an accomplished woman that knows you've worked too hard to still be working this hard, I want to give you a new and easy way to start living like the boss that you are. In this video, I'm going to show you my easy method to be the CEO of your life and finally feel in control, organized, and efficient. I've coached some of the most successful women, from 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs to doctors and lawyers to corporate executives, and I can say with certainty that even the most high achieving women can benefit from this method I'm going to show you in this video. At the end of the day, you are an accomplished queen and it's time you start acting like it. So to start, let me show you how to build the foundation that successful women live by. Being the CEO of your life is like becoming the architect of your own home. Before you start picking out the paint colors or laying down the floors, you've got to make sure the foundation is solid. Most of us are out here building big lives and doing it on top of sand. We add another goal, another task, another stretch project, and the foundation keeps shifting beneath us. You can't build a forever home on quicksand. When you pour concrete first, your habits, your energy, your priorities finally have something solid to stand on. So how do you actually pour that concrete? Here's where it starts. Build a strong foundation for your productivity before you build anything else on top of it. There are 3 levels to that foundation. Level 1 is what I call white space, and it increases joy and decreases stress. Here's what I mean by white space. So think about your favorite song for a second. There's more to music than just the notes. The silence between the notes is just as important. If you packed every second with sound without silence in between those notes, you would just have noise, not like that beautiful song that you love. Your life works the exact same way. When every minute is booked, claimed, or filled with work, your life stops feeling like life and it starts feeling like you're just going through the motions. So there are 3 ways that I teach my clients inside my program, Systemize Your Goals Accelerator, to create white space so that your life isn't filled with just work. The first one is to have an early morning routine. An early morning routine is where nobody needs anything from you yet, even if it's just 20 minutes with your coffee before the rest of the house wakes up. And actually in my program, we have a 5 a.m. challenge to help women get in the groove of waking up early and having time for themselves. Surprisingly, this challenge has become quickly the most favorite challenge in my community because it is so life-giving just to have that time for yourself. The second way to create white space is having something I call a white space block in your calendar as a non-negotiable. These white space blocks on your calendar are not for catching up on anything. They're literally just for taking time during the work week to just breathe and fill up your own tank. They're very similar to what the book The 12-Week Year calls the breakout blocks, but I choose to call them white space blocks because unlike breakout blocks, they're not for productivity's sake. They're just for you to give yourself time to flourish and enjoy the fruits of all your labor. And I recommend 3 hours a week that you can work up to. 3 hours is too hard in the beginning. You can start with something just like 30 minutes or an hour each week that you block off just to take some time for yourself. And the last form of white space that I recommend is reflective development space, which can kind of look like things like therapy, journaling, or just sitting quietly with your own thoughts. There's research out there from Sarah that reviewed over 200 studies on journaling actually, and regular journalers showed 85% better mental health and 88% sharper focus. Journaling isn't just some woo-woo advice. The benefits are really based in science, and there's a measurable shift from taking space like this to reflect. Okay, let's move on to level 2. So picture your phone at 1%. You wouldn't try to keep using your phone without charging it and then wonder why it keeps crashing every time you try to turn it on. You plug it in and you let it charge. Your body is the same way. And a lot of us are walking around at 1% and wondering why we're snappy at our kids and foggy by 2 p.m. So adding self-care to the foundation of your productivity increases your energy and decreases inconsistency. And I teach that your energy lives in 3 places: sleep, nutrition, and movement. I call this the energy trifecta. I'm going to zoom in on sleep here for a moment because it's one of the most important things for us, and many of us are not getting enough. 1 in 3 adults in the US sleeps less than 7 hours a night, and people sleeping under 6 hours have a 13% higher mortality risk than people sleeping 7 to 9. I've also read so many studies that poor sleep is correlated with developing things like dementia later in life. Please know that if you're skipping out on sleep, there's a real cost to chronic sleep deprivation and low quality sleep. This is your reminder that not getting enough sleep is nothing to play with, okay? So get your 7 to 9 hours, eat in a way that actually fuels you instead of just getting you through to the next meeting, and move your body in a way that feels good. That's how you stay charged, okay? So moving on, you can think of this next level like this. Even the best Formula One driver in the world doesn't change their own tires mid-race. That pit crew is the whole reason that she gets back on track fast and actually wins. So level 3 is support. This is where you can increase your capacity and decrease your burnout. You need a pit crew in 3 places: at home, at work, and in your personal life. That might look like a house cleaner, a virtual assistant, a coach, a therapist, a meal service, or just asking your partner to actually own a thing instead of waiting on you to delegate it. If the words, "I'll just do it myself," come out of your mouth more than twice a week, you need a better pit crew. And listen, I know asking for help is the part most of us get stuck on. You're the strong one in your circle, you're the leader at work, and many of us were trained to be the one that everybody else leans on. So handing things off can feel like failure, even when our body is like begging for relief. If that's where you are right now, I got you. I recently did a deep dive workshop in my community Systemize Your Goals accelerator called Delegate to Breathe, and it's linked in the description below if you want to grab the replay. It'll walk you through exactly how to hand things off so they actually stay handed off without you spending half of your weekend rewriting somebody else's work. The workshop also has some amazing bonuses included. I have the partner delegation scripts, which are the exact words to hand off things to your partner so he picks it up and runs with it. The VA onboarding sequence, which is a week-by-week plan to get your VA actually useful in 30 days. And the boundary checklist, which is 20 ways to protect your time so that you can run your life on strategy while everyone else handles the fires, right? So be sure to grab the replay and those bonuses before they expire. It is linked in the description below. And before we move on, the thing that I want you to remember about what we've discussed so far, you can't build a queen life on shaky foundation. White space, self-care, support, those are the concrete underneath everything else that you're trying to do. So let me ask you, on a scale from 1 to 4, how stable is the foundation under your productivity right now? 1, you're burned out and depleted. 2, you're exhausted but pushing through. 3, you have some foundation but it's rocky and inconsistent. Or 4, your foundation is strong and you're flowing. If your answer is below a 4, I want you to decide one place to start when it comes to securing your foundation, either white space, self-care, or support. And especially if it's support, be sure to join my Delegate and Breathe workshop that I have linked for you below. But as you probably are guessing, having a foundation is just the beginning of being the CEO of your own life. Next, let me show you how to actually build that queen life without working harder, okay? Once the foundation is poured, the next job is the way that the house is actually built. Specifically, once the foundation is strong, the next step is intentional infrastructure to execute the blueprint of your home, right? Think of this like designing and executing the way your home actually functions. The foundation makes the home stable, infrastructure makes it intentional. So when it comes to being the CEO of your own life, once you have a strong foundation, next you need intentional infrastructure. So how do you design that infrastructure? Here's what goes in. There are 3 layers to that infrastructure, and all 3 need to be in place before your week stops feeling like you're making it up as you go. Picture like how a baker works. She starts with the finished cake in her head, and then from there she works her way backward to figure out what goes in the bowl first, what temperature the oven hits, and how long it needs to bake. By the time she's pouring that batter into the pan, every step is laid out for her because she started with that end vision and walked herself all the way back from the beginning. So layer 1 of your intentional infrastructure is goals. And this increases intention and decreases scatteredness. Your goals work the same way as the baker starting with that vision in her head. Goals give you direction, and you need 2 pieces here. The first piece is strategy, which is the big picture game plan for how you're going to achieve your goals to make the most of your time and your energy. So not 5 places, not 17 places, the 1 or 2 places that matter most for the season that you're in. Second is your reverse goal plan, which is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to take your vision, you're going to take that strategy, and then you're going to decide what it is that you actually need to do to get there. So things like the 12-week year, those are going to be your reverse goal plan. All right, then moving on to layer 2. Layer 2 in your intentional infrastructure is your operating system. And this increases organization and decreases mental clutter. And there are 2 important parts of your operating system. Number 1 is the tool you use. So I give my clients an organized brain inside Notion to use as their tool that combines the frameworks of Getting Things Done by David Allen and Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte. You need one home where your thoughts, your tasks, your projects, and your reference material actually live. So things like 7 Notes apps and Google Doc to hold things together, that's not a good system, my friend. If you need a single home for all of it and you want to use the exact system that I give my clients, my Productive Boss Notion system is built for exactly this, and it's linked in the description below. And the second important component here are the habits that keep your operating system going. Specifically, the most important ones are going to be your weekly review and planning. Every single week, you're going to sit down and actually look at the week behind you and the week ahead. This is the move that puts you back in the driver's seat of your own life. I actually made a free Systemize Your Goals weekly review checklist that walks you through it, and it's also linked in the description below if you want to grab it. And then third here, like I said, is weekly planning, which is when you take what you learned in the review and map your top priorities into the calendar for the coming week before the high energy of the week actually begins. All right, moving right along to the last layer in your intentional infrastructure. So think about the best club in any city. Now, I'm going to be honest, it has been a while since my clubbing days, but I do remember there was always a velvet rope outside. And that rope is the whole reason the inside of the club is worth being in. The second they let everybody in, the vibe disappears, the music feels off, and the people who pay to be there start feeling crowded out, and it doesn't feel really exclusive anymore. You feel me? Your calendar deserves that same type of velvet rope. So layer 3 is boundaries. And this helps you increase your focus and efficiency and decrease living in reaction mode. A good way to think about boundaries is the velvet rope technically has 3 pieces, but these first 2 live under the umbrella of prioritizing your time. So first is your non-negotiables, and these are the things that get a yes from you no matter what's on fire that day or that week. So the way I teach my clients about non-negotiables are things like your must-dos. These are things like your meetings, your appointments, anything that if you miss it, there's going to be a consequence. And they're also your non-negotiable weekly routines that take care of your family, you, and your most important work. These are actually the only 2 things that I have my clients put on their digital calendars so that they're prioritized when they're planning. Second is learning to limit your availability. A lot of us are running our calendars like a 24-hour 7-Eleven, and then we're surprised when people keep wandering in at all hours expecting us to be open. Your availability is something that you choose, so set yours and stick to it. And then third is your SOP culture, which is just a fancy way of saying you build the standard operating procedures around how you work, and you train the people in your life at work and at home about what those are. The goal is whenever there's a fire or a problem or even a question, before you jump in to solve the problem or give advice or rescue that team member, you refer your team members to the SOP to make sure that they have consulted what's already been documented and how things are done. If the SOP has a gap, then that's your opportunity to slow down, to speed up, and update the SOP. Not only are you referring to your SOPs in your everyday culture, but then you're updating and living from them and training from them. They are not just collecting dust on a shelf. That's useless, right? You're actively using them in your day-to-day work, and as a result, you're streamlining your time. And listen, if delegating and protecting your time is the part of all this that feels like so impossible, my Delegate to Breathe workshop linked in the description below is going to go way way deeper on all this with practical tools and strategies to help you learn how to delegate at work and at home without losing quality. All right, once your foundation is solid, the infrastructure is how you actually build the life of the queen that you are. Goals give you direction, your operating system turns that direction into execution, and your velvet rope protects the whole thing. That's really the kind of infrastructure your queen vision actually needs. So, on a scale from 1 to 4, how's the infrastructure supporting your vision right now? 1, there's no infrastructure. You're kind of winging it every week. 2, you've got some pieces, but you're white knuckling them into place, really. 3, you've got infrastructure, but it keeps falling apart by like Wednesday. And then 4, your infrastructure is humming and you're flowing. Now, this gives you a good blueprint of how to be the CEO of your own life without working harder. If you do want to dive a little bit deeper into building an SOP culture that I mentioned, be sure to watch this video next. I'll see you over there. And until next time, cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. Namaste, and please subscribe.